thank you, everybody, for coming to the 2025 Community Town Hall meeting with New Jersey legislators. We do this town hall each and every year to make sure that our community can get together to talk about our common issues, to get to know one another, and to see the bigger picture and scope of what is needed in New Jersey and what's needed for our communities as well. So thank you everyone for coming today. Our main agenda for tonight is split into 4 parts. We have employment, we have immigration, senior services, and then all the other catch-all categories. So before we start, we're going to now introduce our panelists for tonight. And we'll start with Assembly Member Ellen Park.
Good evening. My name is Sharma Haider. I'm the Assemblywoman from District 37, my colleague to Ellen Park.
First up, we have our student from Give Chances.
Hello, everyone. My name is Doram Sim, and I will be speaking on behalf of Give Chances today. And as I mentioned before, we have 3 main programs: DD Artists, Joyful Learning Program, and Chance Makers. And today we will be focusing on DD Artists. I would like to talk about the extended employment programs for persons with disabilities. Introduced in the 2024 to 2025 session and passed by both chambers, the bill updates the 1971 Sheltered Workshop Act to expand access to extended employment programs for individuals with developmental disabilities by easing eligibility and improving accessibility. And some key changes include eliminating the requirement to complete a sheltered workshop before entering extended employment and shifting eligibility oversight from the Commission for the Blind and Visually Impaired to a more person-centered model. However, the bill leaves unanswered questions about training content, sustainable funding, and collaboration with community organizations. For comparison, New York's Employment Training Program, ETP, run by OPWDD, combines training, internships, and job fairs to support permanent employment for people with developmental disabilities. It is funded through the Medicaid Home and Community-Based Services waiver and has shown strong outcomes in promoting competitive employment. So we raised the following questions and points of discussion. Number 1. What structures and policies are needed for New Jersey to implement a similar program? My second question was, can Medicaid waivers, workforce funds, or disability grants support such initiatives? And lastly, how can community-based organizations like ours, Give Chances, which provide training, arts, and internships, form sustainable partnerships with the state? What criteria and processes would apply? Thank you.
As I understand it, the bill, the Assembly bill by Murphy and the Senate bill by Corrado are have been, what is the status? Let's see. They've been referred to, in Assembly it's been referred to the Labor Committee.
Hi.
In New Jersey, in that bill, as I understand it, money is going to come from the state budget, as well as increases with the consumer price index over a period of time. So that seems to be the funding that New Jersey is looking at. And they're moving from the visually impaired, blind and visually impaired commission to the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation Services. So right now the bill is still in the Assembly. It has not been voted on. It has been presented to the committee, but I don't think the committee has heard it because it just says referred to committee, so it hasn't come up for this thing. As for your issue about organizations like yours working with the state, New Jersey has relationships with nonprofits for almost all the work they do. A lot of the social justice work is done with partnerships with nonprofits. I'm a big supporter of disability issues, and I work with the ARC, which work with disabled children. I'm working on issues of respite care and which are very important for people who provide, services to children with disabilities. So I do know that nonprofits work very well with the state to provide the services the state needs. You just have to build your relationship with them. We'll be happy to support you in that. We'll be happy to introduce you to the people you want to need to talk to. But this is how government works. It is a partnership between organizations like government departments.
I can just add to that in the sense that, I know there's a lot of New York, New Jersey comparison, but it's really difficult to compare, only because if you look at New York's budget, and I was just saying, we have 5 boroughs, their budget, New York City budget, 5 boroughs, is over $100 billion a year. Our budget is $56 billion, and we do have a little surplus this year, but New York City is always in a deficit, so of course, there's going to be more because they're spending double, right? But it is really, really crucial, as Shama put it, that we work together from the state with these nonprofit organizations like yours to basically educate and better fund. Because I think also in New York City, they do work with nonprofits, but they also have a centralized department where they get all the money and then it gets allocated, right? I think, and it's within the New York City department. It's not like a non-for-profit that's allocating all the money. So it's a little different just because how it's structured, how much money they have, and so yeah. But again, I know you guys got a little bit money this year, and hopefully, we can get you some more next time. But I think it's also, educating people down at State House how important it is to, aid and fund organizations like yours.
My name is Donald Yu. I am a principal of a senior school at Korean American Senior Citizens Association of New Jersey. For years, East Seals of New Jersey has sponsored a program called CSEP, which stands for Senior Community Service Employment Program. Basically, seniors over 55 years old, they can join this program and be a partner in nonprofit organizations and get paid as a trainee. This program is not only beneficial for the seniors who, after retiring their regular job, they can get a training program like this and get paid to support their family, but also beneficial to the nonprofit organizations like Casca-NJ to get their workforce they need. But this program was terminated as of June 30 this year. And the reason they gave us was they didn't get the funding for the new year budget, which started July 1st, 2025. We had, the Casca-NJ had 4 people under this program, and on July 1st, they all left because the program is no longer exist. So since then, we haven't had enough people to answer the phone, not mentioning, the workforce to run the nonprofit organizations. I believe the funds actually come from federal government. But even then, this is very, very important program for seniors like us. So we asked, it's not really a question, but we asked Senator and 2 Assembly members, you represent District 37, so please contact Department of Labor, which is the governmental agency who handles this program. So please contact the Department of Labor to reinstate this program for the seniors.
That's a federal program?
Yes, money comes
Okay, okay, so that's a federal, it comes from the federal government, it goes through the Department of Labor, and they distribute the money to the nonprofits, such as your organization here. So when the federal government cut the money, we had no money to give out. However, because of your interest in this and you're making this a priority for us, we will go to the state and see if we can find some funds for that. Do you know how much that was that you received about?
Total funding amount, but each participant will get minimum wage payment.
Okay,
And they work 20 to 30 hours a week.
just want to understand, you would get the person, they would be paid directly by the Department of Labor. Is that how it worked, or the grant came to you?
Department of Labor provides the funding, and Easter Seals are
Manages.
the agent managing the.
Very sorry this happened. I used to work at a non-profit, and when you mentioned Easter Seals, we used to get people all the time to come and help in the office.
Yeah, we understand that this funding is coming from the federal government, not state of New Jersey. I believe it's coming from Department of Labor of the federal government, comes down to the Department of Labor of the New Jersey state, and then come to the Easter Seals agency. So, you know, you are the representatives of the 37 districts, so you can make a big impact on that. Thank you.
My name is Song Kwan. I'm here on behalf of the One Vote Coalition. I'm from Fort Lee, and I know, Senator, I've hounded you at the State House a few times. That's okay. But before I go into my question, allow me to thank you and express our community's appreciation for being the prime sponsors of the Immigrant Trust Act. Don't have to tell you how important it is to not only us, but all immigrant communities, and I know both of you assembly members are immigrants yourself. That being said, my question is pretty simple and straightforward. What are your plans to make sure that it is enacted during this lame duck session? And how do you see, what do you plan to do to assuage the impact it's having, the current administration's anti-immigrant, not only rhetoric, but the ongoing raids, and as you've seen, that's affected a lot of people from not showing up to work at warehouses, restaurants, and a lot of retail businesses here on Broad Avenue and throughout our district. Thank you very much.
The Immigrant Trust Act we recognize, we know it's important to a lot of people in the state. I'm told that 1 in 4 New Jerseyans are foreign born. 1 in 4 are foreign born, so this impacts a lot of people. And you have the federal government who is now militarizing the local police departments, and that's a major issue, a major problem. But going back to your question about what we're doing about it, the bill has been drafted up, it's in the process. It's my job and our job to stay on leadership in the legislature to ensure that this bill gets posted before the session ends. Now, we're not going to meet, we're going in, it's after election. And of course, as you know, because you've been in Trenton a lot, that the elections are a factor in this bill going forward. So, because there are certain districts in the state that are not as accepting or this bill as others. So, but that's what I plan to do in the Senate. I think my colleagues in the...
I'll let Ellen speak in detail, but all I want to say, as an immigrant myself, you can imagine how important this bill is to me and my community. It has my full 100% support, and I'll do whatever I need to do to make sure it moves ahead.
I mean, we've been working on this all year, really pushing, and every minute we have, you know, and I know that the press is also helping us trying to move the needle, but, you know, as the senator said, it is an election year. You know, we Democrats move as a team, and we're just kind of waiting for elections to finish so we can push the needle some more. So we're definitely working on that. But, you know, I just want everybody here to understand, you know, I know there's a lot of negativity right now with what's happening, but, you know, I think what happened in Georgia, right, what happened in LG, I think it's really evidence of the fact that this administration does not care, you know, doesn't care that you have money, doesn't care, you know, where you're from. They only care about what you look like, right? And that's something that we really need to tell our people because, you know, I was just thinking the other day, and I was on a panel in Philly. There are other non-resident or non-born white people, especially in New Jersey, let's say, right? There's Albanians, there's Serbians, you name them, they're all here. I don't see their place of businesses being raided, right? Why come to Powell Park? Why come, you know, and that's because we look different. We're not, you know, we're not white, basically, right? And so I think, you know, I have a lot of friends who are Republicans. There's nothing wrong, like, being Republican or Democrat, but I think people have to understand this specific administration is bad for everyone and only good for a very certain few. So, you know, please be careful, because I just heard today from somebody that person was a citizen of the United States, went to Korea to visit and came back, and they sent him back because they had a DWI in their record, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, and I was trying to get some information to find out. I'm sure they have an attorney, but this is what I heard today. And I said, how is that possible? Person's a U.S. citizen. They said, oh, because they're not American-born U.S. citizen, that they sent them back to Korea. So just please be careful, because right now the temperature is not a good, you know, you just never know, right? So just please be careful.
Thank you.
And that's clearly an illegal act to send an American citizen back like that. So they don't even care about the legality or the Constitution or anything.
There's no due process, there's nothing. They're just gonna send you back and let you deal with it, and they don't care. And so that's, you know, that problem here.
Good evening. I know you guys are too long. I still stand up here for TIN numbers, tax ID numbers. A lot of people, they want to pay payroll tax. But federal government, they accept tax, TIN number people's tax. But state of New Jersey, they didn't accept the tax. The amount is a huge amount they want to pay to the state. The state of New Jersey, they refuse it. Do you know why? Do you have any solution about that? They're going to accept the payroll tax? TIN numbers, temporary tax ID numbers.
So I don't know why New Jersey is not taking it. I think I need to maybe study that some more, because I don't understand. I think there's something that we're missing is the issue, right? But just as an ITIN issue, so 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I applied for ITIN for a client. Nobody at the IRS to answer the phone, nobody to send you mail, there's no email, there's nothing, right? 2 years it took for me to get an ITI number, right? And with that application, you have to submit your original passport. Nobody wants to give up their passport, right? I had to have my client who lives in Spain give his Spanish passport, which I had to mail, and they held it for 6 months before they give us an ITN number. I'm in the same situation right now. I just mailed it a month ago. Scottish passport, right? United Kingdom. And they have to pay their taxes because they sold the property in United States. And so, you know, I understand that we want to make New Jersey better, but please understand a lot of these questions, it's because our hands are tied federally, right? These are all federal issues. The monies come from the feds. The law is a federal law, which supersedes most state laws unless there's a loophole, right? So, you know, we're working, but it's hard when our federal government is completely opposing everything we stand for. So, but I will look into that for you.
Yeah, we can talk to Treasury and find out. Right, Senator? Treasury would be the people to go to?
Yeah, that's the executive branch treasury,
Yeah.
yeah. But according to this here, the federal government does accept the ITIN.
They accept the ITIN,
And New
right?
Jersey does not,
So
so
we have to find out why.
with the research, I can get back to you as to what's going on.
So federal government, they accept it, so we paid
They-
it, but
But New Jersey,
state of New Jersey tax
Yeah.
on,
Okay.
Yeah.
they refuse it.
and that's the executive branch under the governor's office, but we'll look into that, actually, and we'll get back to you. In some way, send you a text or an email, letting you know, cow.
I think-
Cow you. Yeah.
Our staff is here, I'm sure they're taking notes. Guys, you have to remind us, be sure we do this ASAP.
Hi, my name is Sam. I am with AWC, Asian Women's Christian Association, and I thank you for your time, Senator Johnson, some members in the park, and Hayter. Quickly get into the issue. The issue is the Easy Ride. Easy Ride is a New Jersey public transportation, and while it's available for seniors, it's for seniors who do not drive. and they say they have language support and it's accessible due to technical issues, the language barriers. Our seniors have a hard time accessing and utilizing this support program. They rely on staff who actually, none of them who speak Korean, and our clients, amongst all of our programs that we have at AWCA, we have a Thriving Senior program, the Activity Center. The issue is, with the already existing program, which is Easy Ride, seniors have a hard time accessing because of a language barrier and technology barrier as well. And as of June 2025, Easy Ride mentioned they do not have any plans to implement standardized phone-based translation services, which even is worse for not just for AWC seniors, but for the seniors here. Palisades Park has one, Fort Lee has a center as well. And the issue, one of the major issue also is that they outsource these drivers to Uber and Lyft, and limits the program's ability to accommodate language needs. Even it worsens that. And with the technically difference, seniors have a hard time even accessing more with this partnership that is there, but it's not really utilized well amongst their seniors. And here we mentioned that New Jersey enacted a law. It's a language access bill that was successfully passed, and actually here are some of our members, including AAPI New Jersey and Ming Kwan Center and AWC was part of it to really push strong for the bill. And it's working, it's getting there too, but especially for this crucial transportation issue for our seniors who cannot drive. And we just want to ask with a question. The program exists, there are routes, but they're limited, and they do not cover the largely populated areas of Korean American seniors. Would you consider expanding shuttle service to include the following suggested locations: Fort Lee, Palisades Park, Tenafly, Teaneck, Inglewood Cliffs, Richwood, Altapan, and Paramus? Thank you.
Do you know where the service is? You list all the places that aren't, but where does the service exist?
So I'm not too sure what, actually, I know it's a nonprofit on its own, and it's a statewide program. Weed County does have its own program, but it's operated under a different name.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I'm confusing it then with the
Yeah.
county one.
So county one also has it, but there's also a language barrier and technical
The county?
issues as well.
Yeah, when I look at what you've written, it seems to me it boils down to the same old issue of probably funding. Because to expand, I had a bill in the state to do micro transit like this.
Just don't touch.
Okay? Micro transit bill across the state.
Yeah,
And the governor's office says it's too expensive and it's too tight. So it all comes down to which budget year it was in and then how much money they had. But I would say that, thank you, I would say that the first issue is obviously going to be financial. And the other issue is, even to expand the bill, they would probably have to have certain permissions, which routes they can take, but if this is a non-profit, which has people on the board from, say, I think the first route is to talk to the non-profit themselves and see what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, we can only ask the nonprofit for this language access, but we can't mandate it to them because it's not state funded.
It's not a-
Or I don't know. So we'll do some digging, but I think we need to figure out where they service, number one. And if they were to service here, I think we're going to have to rely on some of our organizations here, like the way, so my parents, who are here, by the way, their English isn't that great, and so like when we call PSENG, or, they have us, the two daughters calling like all the services, we usually three-way call, right? So I think if we were to implement this, like whatever, there's going to be some transition, I think if we can then kind of send the phone calls to any of the non-for-profits here, then we can three-way call the service in, right? Because in all likelihood, it'll not be, they're not going to be on the internet getting a car service, right? It's going to be an actual like, hey, I live at so-and-so. So I think that we can at least try to do once we try to get the service here.
Have you tried the county service, though? Have you ever tried to use that?
Yeah, so similar issue also occurs.
Same
Also
language issues?
and technical issues as well. And sometimes they try to get in touch, but it's difficult. It's phone calls.
Yeah, I agree with that,
Yes,
because we have in my town, we have a senior bus, a small little van, But you have to book it like 2 days in advance.
Exactly,
If
yeah.
you're especially going for medical appointments, they'll do that. But if you have to go somewhere tomorrow, you may not get the ride. So that also is an issue, I know that.
My question to you is transportation. These are rides from a person's home to a medical appointment? Or for a medical appointment, or to the grocery store, or something like, or referring to?
Right, so yes, those two included, but specifically for our senior activity centers, where they gather, they socialize, they take classes.
Oh, transportation to the senior center.
Yeah, yeah. But it's not just
That
a
also,
senior
okay.
center issue, it's just coming from a organization that runs a senior center, but it's an issue that when we go to these meetings with other senior centers, it's the same topic. We need transportation. We need transportation. Yes.
I understand.
So thank you. Thank you for.
Hi, Senator Johnson, Assemblywoman Hyder, and Assemblywoman Park. Thank you so much for your time and being here. My name is Audrey Han, intern at the 2025 CASE Grassroots Internship Program. On behalf of CASE, I have a question on the Affordable Housing Directory for Senior Citizens and Language Access Law. The Bill's S1277 A3363 was passed this year. This law creates a centralized online directory that lists units, waitlists, and applications in one place, designed to simplify the search for affordable senior and veteran housing. Although the Language Access Law was enacted in January of 2024, many state agency websites offer forms and documents only in English and rely on AI-based or third-party translation tools like Google Translate. As mentioned previously, a significant portion of Korean American residents in New Jersey are limited English speakers. Will the proposed centralized housing directory be updated to include language accessibility features to ensure that the Korean American senior community can effectively search for housing? Beyond this, what efforts are being made towards providing accurate, professionally translated forms and easily accessible online resources across all agencies to ensure equitable access to all health and social benefits for LEP individuals?
First of all, the Affordable Housing Directory, the bills pass Senate and Assembly, but they're sitting on the governor's desk. And until the governor signs it, it's not a law. So nothing will happen. So everybody will have to push it in after the Assembly, after the elections, to make sure that the bill gets signed. Only then can action be taken on it. That's the first thing. Regarding your second part, the language access has been passed. And I think Korean is one of the 5 languages included.
Even though that the language access bill has been passed, it's not like, you know, you don't go and everything that's supposed to be translated. It's piecemeal, but unfortunately, like, we also have to press to make sure that certain things that we don't see that has been translated should be translated. So if you guys see something out there that you realize that it's very important that it be translated as soon as possible, just let us know and we will make that happen.
My name is Chu Sun, and I'm a board member in CASE, and as well as KAANJ, which is New Jersey Hanune. And I'm also a licensed attorney in New York and New Jersey. I wanted to raise a point. It's a very mundane but very important local issue, Senator. This summer in 2025, CASE did a survey of about 100 Korean business owners in New York and New Jersey. The major concern they had was, especially in Palisades Park, was parking for their customers. The owners reported too few spaces and broken meters, and they try to raise this issue with the local officials. They are not really responsive. So I'm asking today, sir, would you be willing to look into this, to arrange a meeting between town officials and local residents?
It's you're an attorney, right?
Yes, sir.
So, you know, that this is more of a zoning issue when it comes to designing parking for downtowns, but that's for design.
Yes, sir.
As for enforcement or redesigning the downtown for parking, have you said that you brought this up. How long ago did you bring this up?
So,
About?
I
Was it a
did
year
not
ago,
I did not actually brought this up, but local officials did, and so I do not have that information.
I asked that question because you have some new leadership in Palisade Park now when it comes at the mayor and council, and also you have a brand new police chief. So I would take this issue to the police chief of police, and also the mayor and council, but you probably have already. But I would sit down with the police chief because he's very open to the issues from that affect his community. I forgot his name, but he's newly installed there, so maybe for the past 30, 45 days he's been in, maybe 60 days. So I would do that. As for us, we could write a letter to the mayor and council, but we can't get directly involved in how they are going to design or enforce their parking in this town, because that goes with their zoning, like I said, and it's something they call a home rule here, where the borough actually is allowed to run the issues in their borough. But we definitely could write a letter. How about that?
Thank you, Senator.
I can just say we can reach out to Mayor Paul Kim and voice our concerns.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Another attorney.
When we think about today's divided world, civic education is more important than ever. So it's not optional, it is essential for preparing young people to engage with the respect and responsibility. We all want our children to grow up ready to contribute positively to society. So democracy only works when people understand how it works. That understanding begins in our school. So on July 23, 2021, Governor Murphy signed a bill requiring all middle school students to take a civic course starting in the 2022-23 school year. However, the law only mandates a minimum of 2 quarters, and civic is not required to be taught as a standalone courses. So because of the importance of civic education in shaping young adults, continuing civic education for K-12 grades, not just the middle students, remain a goal for Educate Together. So after bringing to this concern at last year's town hall meeting, you suggested state statutes to implement standalone civic courses like California has now. So my question is, could you please share it if there have been any pending legislation or updates related to promoting civic education? And how can we get this introduced in the Senate or Assembly?
You know, definitely, I'm sure everybody, I can speak for everyone here, we're big proponents on education, right? Especially when it comes to civic engagement, because it's I feel it's a learned behavior. So as soon as the child is old enough to understand what it means to vote, I think we as a society has a obligation to teach our young folks what it means to vote. I know as soon as my son was able to vote, he had to not only register to vote, but he has to register for the draft, right? So that was a very interesting experience because I come from a family of girls. I didn't even think about registering for the draft, but it's the law. You have to register for the draft. So, you know, I think, like I said, we need to really teach our young folks what it means to vote. So I think it's a good idea. We'll take a look at it.
I agree. Teaching our young people the structure of our democracy, the structure of government, that is so important. I don't think the young folks realize how this government thing works, at the local, county, state, and federal levels. And when I hear about young people wanting to get involved in their local community, to do something and get involved, it's a good feeling to know that they want to get involved. But as you're putting your question there, civics education, of course, should be expanded, yes, because a lot of young people just do not realize and understand how this government actually functions and how this thing works, beyond the elections even. But three houses of government, and who's responsible for what, and what have you. So, and as I said before, we have to include local government because each town is the basic democracy as you work your way up to the federal level. So I concur with that.
I just want to add something. There was an experiment done recently. So Newark allowed their children of 16 and older to vote just for the Board of Ed.
Oh, really?
They registered over 1,000 kids between the ages of 16 and 17, right? 60 came out to vote. So I think that says something. And I think also, it's really upon the parents as well to literally take your children to the voting booth and show them what it is, how to vote, what to, you know what I mean? Like, and that's part of it too, because even, all the young kids who are involved in that project, who registered over 1,000 children for that project, they were also dumbfounded. Like, how can only 60 show up when we registered over 1,000? And I think, again, and that's because they did it, they register for the sake of registering, but they don't know what the value of voting, because that was never really taught to them, right? So, but, yeah.
All right.
And I
Thank
just
you.
want to add that during campaigning, especially during a very brutal primary we campaigned in, whenever I met a younger person, they were very cynical about voting, about participation. So I think that's also essential, that they learn how important it is and learn this, how the government works. Most people don't know how the government works.
You should start
Most
in
people don't know
school.
who does what. So if they learn and understand, perhaps it will spark that interest, because they're the leaders of tomorrow. They're the ones who are going to lead this country. So it's a very important subject to study.
Good evening, Senator Johnson, Assemblywoman Park, and Hyder. Thank you so much for taking this great meeting for us. And then my name is Hyoju Julie Lee. I am here on behalf of Korean Community Services, and I am also a project manager of New Jersey Affordable Care Act. So in 2015, we actually started our consultation services for New Jersey residents for their New Jersey State Health enrollment and consultation services. And for this 2024 and 2025 fiscal year, we achieved more than 3,000 of consultation cases, and also we actually assisted more than 1,000 New Jerseyans. So recent news from here and there, in terms of the federal funding cut related to Medicaid and all other state health insurance, I was able to actually listen to our consumers' voice very closely. And they have numerous concerns and worries about, those lack of health benefit, that might be ended up, happening to them. So that is why I just brought this big chunk of question today for you. So really, hopefully, as a navigator, after we discuss, this matter, I will be able to just answer to their questions, in the very effective way. So my question is the state of New Jersey actively preparing measures to protect the Get Covered New Jersey program and ensure that low-income and underserved populations, especially for those ones who have language and cultural barrier, can continue to access affordable health insurance? And my second question is, KCS continues to invest in training certified navigators who are culturally and linguistically equipped to serve immigrant communities. Is there any current or future state-level funding support to strengthen and sustain these navigator programs? Thank you.
Unfortunately, the news we have so far is that there's going to be a $3.6 billion cut to Medicaid in New Jersey alone. And leadership, I know, is right on top. I was at a related event, the speaker was there, and they were quite determined that they're going to do everything they can to find solutions for this shortfall, because we can't allow our residents to be without health care. That's just not acceptable. You are looking for funding for your navigators, did I understand that piece correctly?
Yes,
some support?
Yes.
Do you think EDA and all will have some funding for that they could reach, or not EDA? Maybe Treasury, on the Treasury website, there may be some grants? Navigators? Department of Health, yes.
Yeah, from Dobie, we do have funding, but then for all other nonprofit organization and for those navigator who can actually help out,
DCF.
we still a little bit more funding, yeah, in my
Look
opinion.
at 2 or 3 places, look at Department of Health, look at Departments of Children and Families, and you have it from insurance. I would look at all these different, just because the department's name doesn't seem to match what you're doing, doesn't mean they don't have money for your purpose. So look at all these departments, and hopefully you can, find some funding there. But there is, unfortunately, this big cut coming, and but the state of New Jersey is equally determined to try and fight it by finding alternate solutions of somehow or the other ensuring people are not left without health care.
Funding for navigators? Yes,
Yeah.
funding for navigator.
You have a number?
The number of the,
How much?
Yeah, what's the approximate budget for your navigator piece?
because we,
Get back to us later.
right.
You can get back to
yeah,
us
maybe I
afterwards.
need to get back
Yeah,
to you with
give
the
us a-
exact
give-
number
do
after
your-
I discuss that with my
yeah,
director.
absolutely.
Yes,
You know where we are.
Thank you so much for the, very direct and very practical, answer to my question number 2. But then I really would like to ask you for the, like some information about my first question too.
Isn't Batkin, hasn't he sued to keep the New Jersey, what is it called, the Affordable Care Act, which is
Yes.
in New Jersey, it's called Get Covered New Jersey. I think he sued to keep that intact. The federal government is doing everything in its power to dismantle the Affordable Care Act. And they would have come in on day one and dismantled it, but they were unable to do it because Republicans in other states were up in arms because they are using it also. It's not something that just Democrats use.
I'm on Get Covered, New Jersey. But they don't give the state legislators any
They don't give us any
health
healthcare.
insurance, any health care.
No.
So I actually applied for Get Covered New Jersey. And it is really, really important. We have a budget, but I'm very certain the top priority is healthcare for all, like that, obviously food security and healthcare.
Healthcare, food security, childcare, I think these are the top 2 or 3 priorities.
Yeah, so-
To save that, because all of that is being cut at the federal level.
But we're going to do whatever that's necessary to look out for everyone.
Because we're reducing childcare subsidies, and the agriculture department is cutting food for SNAP benefits and all, but we're going to fight all that.
Because it's very closely related to their day-to-day life. So, thank you so much.
Yeah, it's essential.
Hello, I'm Amber Reed from AAPI New Jersey. My first question is about ensuring all of our community members can vote and even making it easier for more of our community members to vote, especially those who are more comfortable voting in Korean or another language other than English. Since I wrote this question, you have all signed on as co-sponsors for the John R. Lewis Voter Empowerment Act, which is a state-level voting rights act that would ensure New Jersey remains very strong, even as other states are trying to make it more difficult for people who look like us to get access to the polls. I hear from other Asian American leaders in Ohio or Florida or Texas where they're purging voter rolls. Their secretaries of state are sending threatening letters to Asian American voters who have every right to vote, but saying, we think you're not a citizen. If you vote, we'll put you in jail. It's really scary out there, and I think there's an opportunity here to do something to make New Jersey the state it should be during this very challenging time. So I guess my question is, how can we work together to make sure this bill is moved forward before the next administration and the governor's office is seated?
First of all, let me say that I know no reports or issues in the county of Bergen when it comes to people being allowed to vote. No case of intimidation, and the Bergen County Clerk, John Hogan, has done an excellent job in ensuring that everyone gets the information, whether it be vote by mail, whether it be early voting or whether it be going to the polls. In the county of Bergen, I think we've done an excellent job of that when it comes to ensuring people have or allowed to exercise their right to vote. That's number one. The John Lewis Empowerment Act, which kind of enshrines what we're talking about here, I would suspect that would, well, it has to be now, has to be after Election Day again, because when you have an election year, certain districts, as you probably know, certain districts in New Jersey aren't as liberal as we are up here in the 37th district. So, and we try to get Democrats elected statewide. So they want to bring up, do not want to bring up issues that may impact their ability to win the election in those challenged districts. So we stay away from them until after the election. And that's why it's called a lame duck. So will this be a lame duck issue? I would hope so, but I'm not sure. I have to find out. I know the leadership in the legislature, whether it be the Senate or the Assembly, they have a list of bills from all legislators saying these are important to us to get through before the end of the year, and this could be one of them for sure for me, or for us actually. So that's how that process will probably work. That make sense? What I said? Kinda. Yes.
I think so. Thank
Yeah.
you.
But like I said before, Bergen County, there's no issues. I've heard nothing about voter intimidation or what have you.
Amber's from Middlesex County.
I am from Essex County, so in Bergen County, Korean is required at the polls, right? But there are Korean voters in Hudson County, Essex County, Middlesex, who don't have that yet.
Yeah, you know, the 37 districts of Bergen County, so I prioritize that for my people in the 37. And then I go outside to the rest of the state.
Right.
But, so Middlesex or Essex County, I'm not quite sure how they're handling it down there. I don't know.
We're going to press
find
it, we're going to press it, but I also implore everyone in this room, and, you know, we have about 100,000 documented, undocumented Koreans in Bergen County, right? And if you look at the voter history, again, only a very small percentage vote. And I think even though we pressed the issue down in the State House, we need everybody here to vote so that there are more numbers, there's strength in numbers, right? So I think we have to help each other get this law passed by having more of us vote too.
And my last question is about the Use of Force Act, for which Assemblywoman Park, thank you for being a prime sponsor. This is a bill that would codify core principles in the Attorney General's current use of force policy so that they can't be easily changed by future administrations. These principles include the duty for police to respect the sanctity of life, to use only reasonable, necessary, and proportionate force, and to prioritize methods such as de-escalation. I know it's meant a lot to us, it's meant a lot to the Black and African American community, to our Hispanic and Latino brothers and sisters that you've taken this up. But can you just talk to us about why you think this bill is important? And I invite your colleagues to speak as well about this. And what else you think needs to be done in New Jersey to prevent such tragic incidents as the police shooting of 25-year-old Victoria Lee in Fort Lee?
It's important because it happens every year, or more than every year, because didn't it just also recently happen to a African-American woman? And so it is really important that we get this passed, and I know that we have a Senate sponsor who I believe, you know, during lame duck, we're gonna really get this passed. Like, I'm very close to being certain, because I think just the need and the importance, you know, it really outweighs what's going on, because like I said, this is an issue that happens, it's been ongoing for years and years and years, and it just keeps happening. And so to have the policies codified, especially the de-escalation part, you know, as we all know about Victoria Lee, nothing was said or done to de-escalate the situation. I mean, the whole thing happened within under 2 minutes, and that's why I think it's really important also to make sure that this bill gets passed.
And I just want to add that it's not just important because it protects citizens, it also importantly raises the confidence in the government, you know. You trust your police force, you trust the law enforcement when you have things like this which are enshrined in law. And maybe perhaps another thing, Ellen, you know more about it, I'd like to mention is, at the same time, I think we also need to push that they create more programs like Arrive Together, because in the case of Victoria Lee, had there been a mental health specialist on the scene, it would never have gone to the limit it did. They don't, I think it's again boils down to a question of money and enough trained specialists to do the job. But we need to focus on both these things at the same time as corollaries to each other.
Yeah, I support the bill as long as it does not take away from the officer's ability to make it a split-second decision when it comes to life and death. I was a policeman for 30 years, law enforcement, and at the scene, at a scene of an incident where a person has a weapon and they are face-to-face with a police officer, the officer has to either determine that his life's in danger or someone else's life's in danger, and he or she then can discharge their weapon. As long as we don't take that ability away from our law enforcement officers, and also, if this does happen, it's investigated by the Attorney General's office. That's number one, a thorough investigation. And that's where the transparency comes in as to what really happened, because you have to have a full report after the incident. So I support this idea of this as long as it doesn't interfere with an officer's ability to protect himself, herself, or the people that they're sworn to protect.
Thank you.